Overflows.
Sex and release from tension. Something very significant about sex remains unknown to vast humanity. Indeed, sex is considered nothing but a mere release from tension. Deeper understanding of sex remains unexplored by vast majority. Not much effort have been not much effort was made for this. However, such explorations remain confined to few awakened ones, and they have not shared their deeper findings and understanding. Sex is indeed the meditative process of growth and opening of the seed of love from deep within. I repeat, sex is indeed the meditative process of growth and opening of the seed of love from deep within, and allow its fragrance to flow both within and without. This is very significant. This can happen only when you understand existential bioenergy, how to allow it to move, flow, and nourish and nurture the entire bodily system. So, as tension increases, sex becomes a release from tension, a freedom from the pressure created by an internal energy. There are thinkers in the West who are not ready to consider sex as being anything more valuable than a sneeze. The nose tickles, you sneeze, and so the mind is relieved. In the West, they are not ready to give sex any more recognition than this. They are correct and right as well, because what they are doing with sex is no more than this. In the East, people are slowly coming to this point, because the East is also becoming tense. Somewhere in some distant mountain caves, we might find a man who is not tense. He lives in the world of mountains and streams, trees and woods, and is as yet untouched by civilization. There, even now, the energy circuit is formed during intercourse. There are also tantric methods with which anyone can produce an energy circuit. The experience of this circuit is wonderful because it is only when the energy circuit is formed that you get the feeling of oneness. This oneness is never experienced before the formation of this circuit. As soon as the circuit is formed, the couple engaged in intercourse is no longer remain two separate entities. They become flow of one energy, one power. Something is experienced as coming and going and revolving. The two separate entities disappear. Depending upon the intensity of this circuit, the desire for intercourse will lessen and its interval will also increase. It can happen that once the circuit is formed, then for one full year there may not be any desire for repetition, because the ultimate fulfillment has happened. This is what at times Sufi masters have mentioned to their disciples. I am talking about males here alone, because generally sex is a game that ends with male orgasm. Because generally sex is a game that ends with male orgasm. And this is not only true but also tasking on the body if every sex experience ends with an ejaculation. A normal man ejaculates up to 7,000 times in his lifetime. This frequent discharging of energy medically is considered normal now, but psychologically it is a limitation. And in more observations based on culture like the Tao, this number is not healthy for the body and it can reduce one's lifespan. It is okay if there was really a purpose for procreation, but the problem is that most ejaculations in the history of humanity have been without purpose. This is okay if there was really a purpose for procreation, but the problem is that most ejaculations in the history of humanity have been purpose free. Sex should be purpose free but not ejaculation. Purpose free ejaculation is nothing more than a mere sneeze. I repeat, purpose free ejaculation is nothing more than a mere sneeze. And when ejaculation is with a purpose, it leads to procreation. Through sex, you transform energy from one form to another, one that you think is more useful. Both forms, horizontal escalation and vertical escalations, express you differently. I repeat it. Through sex, you transform the energy from one form to another, one that you think is more useful. Both forms, horizontal escalation and vertical escalation, express you differently. Ejaculation can cause depression from an energy and psychological perspectives because what have you lost does not take a new form that expresses your authentic psychological needs. Sperms do not match a 25-year-old man's psychology, let's say. Also, from a neuroscience point of view, this is true. A neurologist explains in her book, Cupid's Poisoned Arrows, how orgasm, both in male and female, cause a drop in dopamine level which change your perception of life and your partner, and this could continue up to 2 weeks till dopamine returns to the baseline when you come back to your normal experience. Why is that? Because orgasm causes a deep stimulation to the brain, it can disturb the balance in your system. This high rise and sudden crash in the dopamine should not be pursued at the same frequency as we do now, even in the biological way. Remember, because orgasm causes a strong stimulation to the brain, it can disturb the balance in your system. This high rise and sudden crash in dopamine should not be pursued at the same frequency as we do now, even in the biological ways. We sometimes mistake accepting our biology with worshipping it. Social belief could affect the most fundamental aspect of humans, like our relationship with sex, and it could deprive us from exploring this dimension deeply, like tantric culture and the Tao did it. I would highly recommend exploring their perspective on sexuality. It is definitely more advanced than ours, and this is why I dedicated myself to studying and sharing my insights with you all.